All right, so when you picture Tanzania, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Maybe it's those vast golden plains, right? Or lions just basking in the sun? Well, today we're going way deeper than that. We're going to peel back the layers and uncover what truly makes Tanzania an unforgettable story, far beyond those postcard images you think you know.
So, let me ask you this. What if you could start your day hiking near an active volcano and then end it wandering through these beautiful, lush coffee plantations on the slopes of Kilimanjaro? It sounds like two completely different vacations, right? But in Tanzania, that's not just some fantasy, it's part of its incredible everyday reality. Okay, get this number in your head for a second. 40%. That's how much of Tanzania's land is protected. We're not just talking about a couple of national parks here and there. This is a massive, nationwide commitment to conservation, to protecting some of the most important ecosystems on the entire planet. And that protection, it's for more than just the wildlife. It's about protecting our own story. The discoveries down in the Olduvai Gorge, they found fossils of our earliest ancestors. This place is, and I mean this literally, the cradle of humankind. You can stand on the very same ground where our story began millions of years ago. So now, let's dive into the most famous chapter of the Tanzanian story, the one you've probably been waiting for, a kingdom of wildlife that is truly unlike anything else on Earth, where these epic dramas of the natural world play out every single day. And right at the heart of this kingdom is one of nature's greatest shows, an event that's almost impossible to wrap your head around, the Great Migration. It's not just a trip for these animals, it's the very pulse of the entire ecosystem. It's this ancient, relentless rhythm of survival. 1.5 million. Just let that number sink in. That's how many wildebeest, just the wildebeest, make this incredible journey. Then you add in hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles. Pretty soon you've got this massive, moving column of life that can stretch for over 25 miles. It is without a doubt the largest overland migration on the planet. And beyond that incredible migration, these plains are home to Africa's legendary Big Five. Now, you've probably heard that term, right? It actually came from old-school hunters, referring to the 5 toughest animals to track on foot. But today, thankfully, it's all about bagging the perfect photo, and Tanzania is one of the absolute best places to see them all. What's really amazing, though, is the sheer variety of places to see all this. On the one hand, you've got the Serengeti, which in the Maasai language literally means endless plains. I mean, it just goes on forever. But then you have the Ngorongoro crater, a totally different, self-contained world. The thing that makes the crater so unique is that it's not just a stop on the migration route, it's a permanent home. This collapsed volcano has basically created its own little ecosystem, and it has one of the highest densities of wildlife in all of Africa. It's like watching a non-stop show in this breathtaking natural amphitheater. You know, it's hard to put the feeling into words, but the biologist George Schaller, he absolutely nailed it with this quote. Seeing this stuff in person, it's not just a vacation. It's something that changes you. It rewires how you see the world, and it stays with you forever. Okay, but the wildlife, that's just one incredible chapter. The story of Tanzania is also a story about adventure, a vertical adventure that stretches from the highest point on the entire continent all the way down to the vibrant world hiding under the ocean waves. For a lot of people, the ultimate adventure begins right here. At almost 6,000 meters, the snow-capped peak of Mount Kilimanjaro is the roof of Africa. It's this massive, dormant volcano that just rises up out of the plains all by itself. It's an incredible sight. And climbing it is like taking a journey through 5 different worlds. As you go up, you pass through these completely distinct zones, from a lush rainforest, through a weird, moody moorland, then a stark alpine desert, until you finally reach the Arctic conditions at the top. It's like going from the equator to the North Pole in just a few days. So, from the highest point in Africa, the adventure takes a nosedive. All the way down to sea level, we land in the Zanzibar archipelago. And that name alone, right, it just makes you think of spice traders and white sand and that perfect turquoise water. And let me tell you, it delivers on every single one of those images. You can get lost for days in the ancient alleys of Stone Town, check out the spice farms, dive into world-class coral reefs, or, just kick back on some of the most beautiful beaches you will ever see. It is the perfect end to a safari adventure.
Oh, right. Beyond the incredible landscapes and the amazing animals, we get to what is maybe the most important layer of the whole story, a rich, diverse, and ancient human culture that is absolutely alive and kicking today.
I mean, this timeline barely scratches the surface. We're talking about a history that starts at the literal dawn of humanity, goes through centuries of trade and colonial rule, and then emerges as this modern nation that somehow brought together over 120 different ethnic groups under one language, Swahili. It's an amazing story.
And that history isn't just in a museum, it's living and breathing through its people. You have the iconic Maasai, of course, famous for their culture out on the plains. But then you also have groups like the Chaga, who for centuries have figured out how to brilliantly farm the volcanic slopes of Kilimanjaro. It's an incredible display of human ingenuity.
So, you have this jaw-dropping wildlife kingdom, a vertical adventure from a mountain peak to a coral reef, and this incredibly deep human story. So what happens when you weave all of those powerful threads together? Let's talk about why this matters so much right now. And it's pretty clear the rest of the world is taking notice. Just look at this. These are some of the nominations from the recent World Travel Awards. We're talking leading destination, leading safari, leading beach. Tanzania is getting recognized on a global stage for offering this complete, unparalleled experience. And that brings us right back to the beginning. The unforgettable part of Tanzania isn't any single thing. It's not just the lions or the mountain or the beaches. It's the powerful, incredible combination of all of it, all wrapped up in the famous warmth of Tanzanian hospitality. So, we've explored all the different chapters of this incredible country, the wild animals, the epic adventures, the rich human culture. The only question left is, what part of this unforgettable story are you going to choose to write for yourself?